In this two-part video, I'm going to walk you through the lesson, Unit 5, Day 11, D-Day. In the second video, I'm going to show you the newspaper template that you can use with students for their independent work. This lesson has the same focus question we've been looking at for a while, which is how did World War II affect the U.S. at home and abroad? Today, students are going to create a newspaper entry describing D-Day. So you're going to give them a lot of context through a variety of media, text, maps, and videos, and they can use all of those to incorporate into their newspaper entry. So it starts off with a short sort of content mini lesson, just giving a little bit of background. So you want to make sure students understand that the U.S. was fighting both in the Pacific and in Europe. This lesson is going to focus on the Europe front or the Eastern Front. And you also want to make sure that they understand that Nazi Germany had control of a lot of areas in Europe and parts of north of Africa. Particularly, you want to make sure students understand they had control over France. You can do that in this slide, or you can have them kind of figure that out on their own in the next slide. So this slide has students analyzing two maps. You can edit your own slides, your own lessons to make these maps larger or to give them a link to them so that they can look at them zoomed in. You can put these on separate slides by cropping the image and having them each available to be looked at more closely. But so students are looking at these to figure out the challenges Allied forces faced when attacking the beaches of Normandy, but they can also come up with a lot of other inferences or conclusions. For example, Germany controlled France. Germany controlled the coasts of France. Great Britain is really close to France, so the attacks came from Great Britain. The U.S. were not the only Allied force invading the beaches of Normandy. Britain and Canadian forces were also there. You can infer that the Allied powers sent in both ships and also paratroop landing. You can have students recognize the names of the beaches, Utah, Omaha, etc. Some students are already going to have familiarity with those names. A lot of kids who play video games, especially. These are some of the inferences you can make outside of the challenges. And then in the challenges, you've got German fortifications, the mines in the English Channel. You've got just the fact that Germany did control the entire kind of European coast, continental coast. So these are, and that Germany had artillery and machine guns positioned on the beaches to thwart any invasion. And that's all something that you can get from the maps itself. Next, you have 3 slides here with excerpts from the D-Day article from history.com. And so you can deliver this however works for your class. You can read it while students answer the questions. You can do a popcorn read. This slide deck is really great for Pear Deck. If you use Pear Deck, definitely incorporate it into these slides because there's a lot of slides kind of with a single task that makes it really easy to do in Pear Deck. Okay, the final thing you're going to do is introduce a eyewitness account from a veteran who stormed the beaches of Normandy, and then students are going to be creating their newspaper article using the video, the text, and the maps from the beginning of the lesson. This clip, he talks about some pretty graphic stuff, and it can be emotional. So I do actually like to share this clip with my students instead of having them do it independently, but that's definitely up to you and your own class. The veteran, the sailor, Ben Curtis, he talks about what it was like to be at the D-Day invasion, and he talks a lot about the death and the number of soldiers who were both injured and killed in the invasion. So the final thing students are doing is they're creating their newspaper article. So check out the second video in this series to see how to do that with the template I provide.